I'm going to be talking about the cybersecurity for extended attack surface. And obviously, you know what is attack surface. I mean, the endpoints as attack surface, basically, they extended from inside office to outside during this pandemic. I'm not talking with respect to Turkey alone. So from the global perspective, this is what has happened. We have seen, perhaps I could write a book on how people have effectively handled the policy from inside office to outside office, right? So we could see every CISO, every CIO, every IT manager, how we efficiently and effectively have accepted this transition and adapted this culture. So I'm going to be giving you a few insights on that. Simple 4 points as agenda: pandemic and recovery. This is not from my view, from a global expert view. I'll just give you that. And universal changes, which is nothing but work from home. And what is the solution of the problems, what we have seen, and how to take it forward, right? From the desktop central products perspective. This is a screenshot which I have taken from World Economic Forum. It's nothing but top 10 worrisome risks which companies are worried about. So they have done a survey during this pandemic. What you could see is top 10 from all backgrounds, but I want you to focus on the third one: cyber attacks and data fraud due to sustained shift in working patterns. We all agree that there is a shift of working pattern, right? That is what is happening across the globe, shift of working patterns. Now, this is a big cyber threat security data fraud wise. So that is one of the major, it ranks third in the top 10 worries, right? So it is really essential. Unless you have a better plan, this is going to be a real challenge in real environment. And the next one is about George Colony, who is the CEO of Forrester, a popular marketing firm who predicts a lot of things. You know about it. Now, in his blog, which I have given here, I would encourage you to just go and read that. He has divided this pandemic, start of pandemic till end, what he has predicted, what they have predicted after the survey. Infection, social distancing management, which we are currently in now, and eradication. That is from inside office to outside office and prolonged outside office, so that you have to do what you were doing inside the office for the endpoint at outside the office. And then finally, when is the back to office is going to happen? Only when you have the vaccine, which they predict as April to June next year. So there's a management time where we have accepted this remote work and designed our infrastructure accordingly. So actually what he has given is a high level information. There is a standard report which is published by them, which costs around $1,250, I suppose. So this is a high level summary of what they talk about. Infection to social distancing to management, which we are currently in. So you have to really plan this till next May of 2021, and then starts the eradication phase. And even after eradication, do you think this is going to be the same way that it used to be in pre-pandemic? No. We have to accept this new normal and work accordingly. That's the information which I want to give you from the world perspective. And what is the universal challenge? There are a lot of challenges, remote work, right? So what were the challenges? I'm not going to list out because you guys have seen this and all the presenters have somehow touched on this, right? One thing which I want to say, Gartner initially predicted there would be 70 to 80% of remote work when by the year 2030, when the Z generation of today, which enters the workforce by then, right? So that is the prediction. However, in 6 months' time, this pandemic has acted as a catalyst and almost brought what was predicted in 2030 has happened within a year's time. Now, that is the pace of digital transformation, and people are moving to the digital workspace. Now we have to be thankful to pandemic for such things which has happened in here. Now, infrastructure readiness, I am not going to go through this. So probably every presenter who was talking about this has more or less covered this. Why I have written this here is basically, this is what we found with our customer who are reaching us to ensure that they continue their business even in pandemic and after pandemic or during remote work. Employee facing application, which they have to access either through VPN or they have to move it to the cloud or move it to the edge. So now these are the infrastructure readiness changes. Now this is not new, but they were not ready. Now this has to be captured and then, so what I have written here in terms of security, permission, internet scarcity, different part of the world, insider attack, all these things were from inside to outside. We had solution, but we didn't expect that this will happen outside. Probably we had 80% always working inside, 20% of the people who are traveling. Now the situation has switched. The 20% of servers, rack servers, things were available inside the office, but 80% of the workforce was outside. So that is the challenge. And I should say that around the globe, according to our knowledge with our customers and partners, we were able to successfully execute with the product that these things were achievable through the product and they were able to manage it, right? So this is the quick summary. So I'm not going to touch on that because I have no time. So I just leave it here and move. Now, what we could understand, right? Philosophize. Now, when you generalize and arrive at a philosophy, this is what we could find. All the CIOs, Chief Executive Security Officers, were doing a job of a plumber. If you have read the famous Esther Duflo, who's basically a Nobel laureate who has won a Nobel Prize for the economy, suggests that economists should be plumbers. Like similarly, all our CIOs, CIOs, CISOs, IT managers, partners, and consultants acted as plumbers wherever they have some problem that has to be fixed so that the business is continued, which is really important, which we have seen. And I kind of call it as the ABC philosophy. They align the right tools, build the process for remote work, and compliance, achieve the compliance. So this is what, even they move from inside to outside and sustain the work for a longer time. So every inside activity has to be done when the endpoints are outside. So that's what that we have observed from the people that whom we have worked with. Okay, is the attack surface increased? Yes, from work from home to work from office to work from home, and again back in office. Now most of the organizations have relaxed, so they have to come back. Even the country-wise, it is relaxing now. They are coming back. Now, when you have a restriction in office and when they are in outside, how was the restriction? It is fully restricted, or you have to relax it for some time. If it is relaxed, when they come back to office, what do they carry? Is every aspect of that is being addressed? Now you have to have a solution like network access control, which we have included recently into the agents. So when you could configure that and ensure what is your policy level guidance. If it is not along with that, it will not enter into the network. It will stay in a quarantine mode. It will suppress itself. Now, something like that, because of the zero trust, you cannot trust, though you are managing it outside the office, you cannot trust it. So when it enters, you have to ensure whether it is in standard with what are the policies that you have. So basically, it has increased the attack surface. And are we equipped to reduce the attack? Yes. Even if you look at the product itself, what I have on the left-hand side is basically the administrative view. All our presenters have discussed about this. What we have on the right side is all about the security view, where we align the security products, plugins accordingly, basically allowed application whitelisting, encryption, firewall, browser security, NAC, DLP, EPAN, and interestingly, EDR, right? So those are the things that, these are all the things which are available. And I'm going to touch on a few stuff where we still feel there is a gap. Even if you take patch management or DLP, data leak prevention, it is strict in the device point of view. However, it is not the same case in the case of what do you call in the system level. So when the application is running, can the application print to a printer which is attached in your home computer? No, it cannot. So there is a managed application, there is a managed device. Only between this, the things can work. Now we are working towards those directions. I will give you a quick update on this. Now, from this pandemic, what we could understand was changes and movements of endpoints are inevitable. And the techniques to manage and secure them already exist, right? So what defines the success of you is basically how quickly you are able to adapt to the change, right? When there is a pandemic, when there is a shift, whether it could be managing it in a modern way or a legacy way, distributed or in a large network, and security-wise, user experience-wise, how easily, effortlessly, quickly you are able to change that so that the attack surface on your endpoints are being kept really low in the reduced level. That is really success. So most of our customers who have moved to cloud or who has the VPN extended where the Desktop Central Server, UEM, Unified Endpoint Edition could manage them, they were able to overcome and manage this very effectively and efficiently. Now, this is the overall idea of Unified Endpoint Management, where it is moving towards. You could see the endpoint management, client side, modern management, and endpoint security, which comprises everything. And as I said, it is available on-premise, on cloud, and you are also having analytics based on that. Now, this is something that most of you would know. I will take 1 minute to touch on a few stuff which you can expect from the reducing the attack surface point of view, only on that perspective. Zero Trust, which we are currently working. I can give you an example. Usually Zero Trust, they say when you are using a VPN, you authorize yourself once, and when you are entering in and everything is accessible. Now, Zero Trust basically reduces the elevated privilege and asks for credentials, multi-factor authentication whenever you want to access something, right? Similarly, when you, I'll give you a scenario. There are machines service on the corporate network. Now, somebody wants to remote into that machine, right? Using a remote control or whatever application they have. So what is the guarantee that remote control application is not vulnerable or bringing anything into it? And at the same time, on the other side, what is the condition that it landing on a server is not doing any data leak through this remote control? That is something we are working on. And EDR, endpoint detection and response. So it is going to be on the endpoint level with remediation. We should be able to find any malware or ransomware which is being working and at any endpoint level and remediate that immediately. So that is something we are really working very hard on that. You can expect that from us. Web protection is something about phishing and malicious with updates from the Google. We should be able to work on that. This is another front that we are working in terms of reducing the attack surface. If somebody is going to click on something, if that site is phishing site, probably we should be able to warn and block it from the endpoint level, not on the perimeter level. So that is something really important. And DLP, as I said, we already have it on the device level. Now it's going to be on the application and website. You cannot download something from your official website and upload it from your managed device to a site where it is not managed by you or it is under recommended one. So this is something that you can avoid data leak. Now, those are the things which are going to be adding in the data leak prevention point of view. Similarly, what I said, you cannot print an official document to an unmanaged printer or take a screenshot, things like that. And finally, endpoint analytics. This is more of endpoint related data mining. So when you install something, say for example, when you install a patch, most of things work properly. but there could be some application which is crashing, which is having problem, but that would never be associated with the patching or any application which you have, a framework which you have upgraded, but separately dealt with the IT team for that application alone. Now we want to bring more focus and see how this application, how this patch is impacting other things, right? So that insight would be possible only when you have endpoint related analytics which are doing. And similarly, there are computers which are not booting fast. Basically, you have to do something on that, or you have to ensure that the hardware is upgraded, right? Now, these are the simple things which you should be able to predict directly by understanding the endpoint's behavior and its core attributes, how it behaves. So that is something that we have on a low priority, we have started working, which will actually improve the end user experience. That is something that we are really working on. And I think that's really high level information about reducing the attack surface through Desktop Central's unified endpoint management. I think that will be useful information to all of you. And I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate all the organizational staff, all my friends, brothers. Thank you so much.